Oh, we're up to Daf Talid in Berachos. We're 10 lines down. The Gemara previously had mentioned that David had suspended a harp over his bed to know exactly when Chatzos was. He said even Moshe Rabbeinu did not know exactly when Chatzos was because he said Chatzos when it came to Makas B'chayres. So we're discussing that. Moshe Taka knew exactly when Chatzos was. The David Nami Haviyada. Moshe and David also knew. The key to David Haviyada Kino Lamali. Why would he need a kinar? After all, he knew exactly when it was. After the Gemara, it's simply an alarm clock. He knew exactly when Chatzos was. It was an alarm clock. The key to Moshe Haviyada Lamali Lema Kachatzos. If Moshe knew, why did he have to say Kachatzos? It's mashma like, but not. Kachatzos Alayla. Mishum Kasava, Moshe held Shema Yitu It's Danini Paro. Maybe the astrologers, the stargazers of Paro would make a mistake. V'yamru. Moshe Bedayhu, Moshe is a liar. The Amamar, Lama the Shain Chaloimer, a person should train his mouth to say any day, I don't know. Shemet is bad of the Sachis. Maybe he'll lie and be caught in the lie. In other words, Moshe knew exactly when it was. But the Instadinas did not know exactly when it was. But they would think they did know exactly when it was. And therefore they would hold Moshe is not exactly correct. So therefore, Moshe said Kachatzos. So why leaving a little room for the error that the stargazers might make? Rashi says another pshat Kachatzos. The palgo or to the tlisa nage abisa. Moshe stood up in the night, the Chatzos of 13th going to 14th. If Makas B'chayres was 14th to the 15th, this was what? This was 13th to 14th. And Havikoi v'hachi kama Moshe the Yisrael. This is what Moshe said to Yisrael on the Chatzos. That was exactly, he knew exactly what it was on the 13th, 14th. And he said, "Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu lemachar tomorrow kachatzos halayla like chatzos tonight." So it's not like chatzos. It's to an existing exact chatzos. That of 13th and 14th will be the 14th and the 15th. K'idna kachatzos halayla k'idna like chatzos ha'idna now the 13th, 14th will be tomorrow night. Ani yoytze b'tach mitzrayim. I will go b'tach mitzrayim. Okay, well, geshmaka deviyagod. The David shomer nafshi k'chasid ani. David says, Hashem, watch me, ki chassid ani. David calls himself a chassid. Chas v'shalom, to think David holds himself a chassid. Right? The Pnei Yeshua in fact says that David wanted to go ahead and say that since we were punished, because we asked for a king kachal hagoyim, and that's what Hashem did want. Hashem wanted a king that's unique. So therefore, David is saying, compared to other kings, he's a chassid. Why to go ahead and avoid the mistake that Klal Yisrael made when they asked for a king and they ended up with Shaul. Levi v'Yitzchak Chadamar Kacham David Fnei Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is what Kodesh Baruch said in front. David said in front of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Shalom, like Chassid ani. Am I not a Chassid? Shekol Malchei Mizrach Umayir. Of all the kings of East and West, Yeit Bishonim Ad Shalosh Shayis. They sleep until 3 hours into the day. I go ahead, get up what half the night and get up to you. V'idach kacham David v'Kodesh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Shalom. Like Chassid ani. Shekol Malchei Mizrach Umayir. Yoshim Agudes b'Chmoidam. They all sit together in bands for the covet. What does David do? David, my hands are literally meluchlich bedam. These are all shilas and dam nida, dam tahar, all kinds of shilas in Pashut and being the length of tumah by yoledes, by women. So David was mamish immersed literally in blood. With shmir, with shilya, kidei l'tari isha l'bayla. All this I was busy with in tari isha l'bayla. Right? Everything I do in the Berachos. The fascinating kadama to the tshuva of Moshe. David was the king of Klal Yisrael. He's asked these shilas. Why don't you just go ahead and say, listen, I'm busy, I'm the king. We get to some of the paisik. So the kadama to the first chelik or chayim, there's Moshe said, even though there are other paisik, if people come to me, you see from this Gemara, you have to ask. You have to answer, because David answered. He didn't go ahead and divert the people and say it goes to somebody else. Anything I do, I take counsel with Mephibosheth. Big shaila who this Mephibosheth was. Was it the son of Shaul? Was it the son of Yonasan? Not exactly sure. And Machlekes Rishonim. Rabbi, so I take Nimlach and Mephibosheth's Rabbi. Mephibosheth's Rabbi, Yafa Denanti, that I not judged correctly. Yafa Chiyafti, Yafa Zechista, and Yamamanis, Yafa Tahati, Yafa Timaisi, in terms of the Tyra, like Boishti, and I wasn't embarrassed to ask. I'm sure Beidavidi Micro, what's the pasuk? Vadaba Beidai Secha. And I spoke what? Beidai Secha. Neged Malachim, V'lo Yevash, and he wasn't embarrassed. Tana, Lo Mipi Baishes Shmoy, that wasn't a Baishes, El Ish Baishes Shmoy, his name was Ish Baishes. The Lama Nikra Shmoy Mipi Baishes, Shahaya Mevish Pnei David Ba'alacha. Afikach Zacha David V'yatzim Imenu Kilav. You know, this person, Mipi Baishes, he would embarrass David. His name was Ish Baishes, but he embarrassed him, it's called Mipi Baishes. And therefore, David was zeichet to have a son named Kilav. Kilav was, the real name was Daniel. Right? He was the product of David and what? And Abigail. Abigail was married to Novelicious Carmeli. She had a son that David did not wait 3 months of Havchana before marrying her. People made fun that this child was the child of Novel. So Abigail named it Daniel, the Nani Kale. Hashem judged me and got me away from Novel. And Kilov is the Lashon Kuloi of. Just similar that the Sonny Hadar used to make fun of Avram Avinu, that Sarah was this Abraham from Avimelech. Avram Hoyle is Yitzchak. Yitzchak looked exactly like Avram. So too, this child, Kilov, was Kuloi of. He looked exactly like David. He's listed in the Gemara in Shabbos as one of the 4 people who never did Naveira in his life, along with Binyamin, Amram, and Yishai. What is called Kilov? He gets another, because Lashon Kilov Machlamav. He was buried. Go ahead and embarrass reinstate the father by embarrassing him if he baishes. B'ni im chacham libecha yismach libi gam ani. V'omer chacham b'ni v'samach libi v'v'shei v'charfi dava, that I was able to go ahead and answer the one that embarrassed me. David mikar l'nafshi chassid. How could David call himself a chassid? V'ksiv lulei hemanti lurus b'tov Hashem be'eretz hachayim. If not for the fact that I had not believed to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'eretz hachayim. V'tan mishmei d'v'yasi. Let's pshat in the pasuk. Lama nakar al lulei. That's in the word lulei. I'm a double lay HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'eretz shlalom. Muftach ani b'cha. My bitachon's in you. Shat mashlim schar tov tzadikim l'asad lavoy. That you're going to pay schar. You're going to pay back the schar tov tzadikim in the next world. I don't know if a chelik or not. After all, maybe I'm not zeicha. So the question is how can he call himself a chassid, yet on the other hand, be unsure that he's going to make it to the next world? And for the Gemara, Shema Yigrim Achet. The chassid, the tzaddik is always worried, Shema Yigrim Achet, perhaps the chet will cause the problem. This is the first time I was exposed to this is the Ramban in Parashas Berachos. Parashas Berachos in Perek Tezvav, where Avram is unsure that he's going to have children. And he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why do you give me? I go with that children barren. Asked the Ramban, why did he believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him at the end of Parshas Lech Lecha that he's going to have children. He told him he's going to have, no, he told him earlier, no, that's later, I'm sorry. He told him earlier he's going to have children, right? So why didn't he believe? He says, not that they don't believe in Hashem, they don't believe in themselves. Maybe they were on one madrega when they got that avtacha, and as a result of a chet, they're no longer that madrega. So David, at one point, I guess, felt he was a chassid, but nonetheless, Shema Yigrim Achet, he was unsure about the next world. I know Alachas Kamet's a very scary idea. Anyway, to go ahead and buttress this point, the Gemara brings a pasuk concerning Yaakov Avinu. Kid Bibi, like Rabbi Bibi, Kid Rav Yaakov Bar Idi. Rav Yaakov Bar Idi Rami, following Stir Ksiv, it says, V'hine enochi imach shmarticha. Pashas Vayetzei, Kadosh Baruch Hu tells Yaakov Avinu, I'll be with you and I'll watch you. Wherever you go. Uksiv, Pashas Vayishtach, when Yaakov was going to have his Pekisha with Esav, it says, Vayira Yaakov Mod, he was very, very scared. Why was he scared? Because Baruch Hu told Shmarticha, I'll watch wherever you go. Why was he scared? So Amay says, Shema Yigrim Achet. Maybe perhaps I did an Avera that I'm no longer roy for the Shmir of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, that's the concept of what? Of Shema Yigrim Achet. And therefore, David, who was a chassid, was worried that Lulei Amanti Luz B'Tor Hashem. Kitana, Ad Yavram Cha Hashem, Ad Yavram Zu Knisa, as Ad Yavras Am Cha Hashem, Zu Be Rishonim, first to win, B'mei Yeshua, they went to Eretz Yisrael, and unbelievable nisim occurred that time. The Yericho sank, and the sun stood still, and Baruch came down from Shemayim. These battles were crazy nisim. Ad Yavram Zu Knisa is then coming back, B'mei Ezra, when they came back after Golus Babel. Zubia Vishnia, and that's the coming back that second time. By the correlation between the two, Nisim should have transpired when Bnei Yisrael went back into Israel in the second coming as the first coming. Ella binun, Ella shigorim hachetz. The chet that was caused them, that didn't happen. Exactly what the chet was. I'll give you two pshatim. Mashas says in Yuma, Daf Testament days, the chet was that they didn't all come back. In the Zohar and Shmois Zayin, Yinalo says that the chet was that they married Nashim Nachriyas, they were married to Leolenu, they were married to Goyim. Okay, getting back to the Berachos Inyan, we said that Zman Shchiva was, according to one opinion, was Ashmari Rishona. That was Zman Shchiva. Second was until what? Was until Amud HaShachar, meaning the whole night is the time of Shchiva. And Chacham said Ad Chatzos until Chatzos. Now Chachamim come on Svirla. When they saw like Shchiva, Mashma Shchiva is either the Zman of the earliest Shchiva or the whole night is Zman Shchiva. Where does Chatzos come in? It makes sense, right? Like Rabbi Eliezer at 10 p.m. and then 6 a.m. So that too Zman Shchiva. Where does Chatzos come in? So who do Chacham say Chatzos hold like? Rabbi Eliezer Svirla. If they hold it because Rabbi Eliezer Zman Shchiva is the beginning, Leimuk Rabbi Eliezer. Let them say like Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Gamliel, and if they say like Rabbi Gamliel, who says Amud HaShachar, Svirla who Leimuk Rabbi Gamliel. Top Rashi, the Mashmalei b'Shafpacha, when it says b'Shafpacha, it's Shafpacha, calls man shmei adam shreikim, the whole time that people lie down, which is the whole night. V'yesh b'chalazeh kol halayla. So the mamashach, it's either the early and normal time or the whole night. But what's chatzos? It says the Gemara, Svirla la'ilom Rabbi Gamliel Svirla. They really hold the whole night. They hold like Amud HaShachar, they hold like Rabbi Gamliel. So what they say until chatzos? Distance the person from an Aveira. Kedetanya. Chachamim masu sayaglu devreihem. Chachamim, they make a boundary around their words. Why do they do this for? Kadesh lo adam b'min asad. That person should come to the field the erev in the evening. V'aymer elech lebesi. I'll go home. V'aychal kima. I'll eat a little bit. V'eshta kima. I'll drink a little bit. V'yishin kima, and I'll sleep a little bit. After all, I have the whole night to go ahead and say Kriya Shema. V'yachkach ekro Kriya Shema. I'll read Kriya Shema, then I'll daven. The chaytfasa is sheina, and then Elena will see that the sleep overtakes us. This happens to the best of us. The nimsa yashan kol halayla, and you'll end up sleeping the whole night. So to avoid that, what do they say? He goes to shul. In Raga Likrois Kairef, in Chumash he does Chumash. In Raga Lishnai Shainav does Mishnayis, The Kairef Kriya Shema, Umispalo. He says Kriya Shema, and then he davens. Then he goes home and he eats, and he benches, and therefore that's what you normally would do. And anyone's over the now this is going on every Dirabban Dikadin. So the Gemara has a problem. Why are you only mentioning over here? Why the difference all over? We don't say Chayiv Misa. And over here you say Chayiv Misa. You buy the same with two thrutzim. Because again, it's very prominent that why the person might fall asleep. So to go ahead and incentivize the person that he should not do this, we say that why is Chayiv Misa. If I say Malafuki Mandoma Tfilas Arvis Rishus, that why Tfilas Arvis Rishus, Kamash Malon Choyva. You might think Tfilas Arvis Rishus to go ahead and daven. It's Rishus, even though we're going to see when it says Tfilas Arvis Rishus, it means we're welcoming another mitzvah. But right now we're holding. You might think it's a Rishus, and therefore what you may come to avoid Tfilas Arvis. And therefore, you say, since I guess we're going to connect Kriya Shema with Arvis to ensure that would happen, it says Chayiv Misa. Amama, Kriya Shema was spelled. Going back over the Brisa, it said, what does a person do? It says, go to shul, you learn a little bit, then you read Kriya Shema and Mispal and Yadav. Mashma that you have to be Soimich, Gula of Kriya Shema to the Tefillah of Arvis. Messiah Rabbi Yochanan, this Brisa would substantiate the saying of the Amor Rabbi Yochanan. Then Rabbi Yochanan, Ezeu ben Olam Haba, who's the ben Olam Haba? That's the one when they dive in the soimich geula tefillah. So by Shachris they go Al Yisrael and say Shmona Esrei, and by Ma'ariv we say Gal Yisrael, and then we don't say Shmona Esrei, and we'll see why. Right? That's the geula tefillah shel Arvis. So B'shuv and Levi Yomer, no, tefillas be'emtza tiknum. The tefillas was said around the Kriya Shema. You said Kriya Shema in the morning. You said all the three tefillas, and then you said Kriya Shema at night. So you weren't Simon Kulut Field according to Yeshua ben Levi, but you were according to Rabbi Yochanan. But my kibifli, what's the first machlokes? Iba is saying the crow, you could say it's a pasuk. Iba is saying it's svara, it's a svara. Again, what's the machlokes? Rabbi Yochanan says you Simon Kulut Field. That first you daven, first you say Kriya Shema, then you daven. According to Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, first you daven, then you say Kriya Shema. Iba is saying it's svara. Rabbi Yochanan savar. Now, what's the idea of being Simon Kulut Field? Geula mi'urta namehave. The Geula began already the night before. Ella Geula Ma'alisa, the full Geula lehavi Ella at Safra. It was only one until the morning. Sure, but Levi Sava no. Kimin lehavi Ella mitzafra. Since the Geula was only totally in the morning lehavi Geula Ma'alisa, right? Even only in the morning Geula Ma'alisa. So therefore, what we're going to go ahead and make sure we don't have to Samech Geula Tefillah at night, only in the morning, because that's when the Geula took place. It's a pasuk. It says when you lie down, when you get up. We make a hekesh between the Kriya Shema at night to the Kriya Shema in the morning. Just like the Kriya Shema of the morning, everyone's moida. You say Gal Yisrael, you say Kriya Shema before, and then you say Shemona Esrei. So too in the evening, first you say Kriya Shema, and then first you go ahead and first Kriya Shema, and afterwards you would daven. That's what Rabbi Yochanan. Yeshua Levi said no. Makish Shkiva Lakima. Makima Kriya Shema Samach Mitasai. Just like in the morning it's Samach Mitasai. When you get up, you say Kriya Shema. After Shkiva Nami Kriya Shema Samach Mitasai. You'll daven first, then say Kriya Shema. So that it should be Samach Mitasai. Let's see. There's a Rashi over here. Very nice Rashi. Zeh Saimach. What does Rashi say? Zeh Saimach. Says Rashi. The Chol Shkein the Shachris. You should be Saimach Gula Tefillah by Mariv. The Chol Shkein Shachris. The Ikka Gulas Mitzrayim b'Shachris Havi, the main redemption, the main freedom of Mitzrayim transpired in the morning. Even though it began the night before, we were shtickle free, but the full freedom only transpired in the morning. In the morning after they brought the Korban Pesach, Bnei Yisrael went out. The Smichas Gula Tefillah and the Smicha, the juxtaposition of Gula Tefillah, Ramza David b'Sefer Tehillim, the Hashem Tzuri v'Goy Ali. Hashem is my rock, He is my redeemer. Hashem answered me right on my day of tzara. Berachos Yerushalmi, someone who's not Soimech Gula Tefillah, what's he comparable to? A beloved of the king. Sheba v'daik v'al pischa, he comes and he knocks on the king's palace. Shel Melech, Yotza Melech, the Melech himself opens the door. Umatzah shehiflik, and he found the person ran away. Afhu hiflik, Afhu, so too the king leaves. Right, so therefore, what do we worry about? If you're not Samech Gula Tefillah, so you come knock on the door, king comes, Goyal comes to answer the door, and then you're not there. So what do? We knock on the door by Gula, and then we go ahead and mispal on Yischa Bakoshes. Adam Makav LaKadosh Baruch Hu love Umatzeu b'Sishbachos v'Kalusin Shal Yitzias Mitzrayim. First, the Kadosh Baruch Hu gets close to Hashem and makes himself acceptable by praising Kadosh Baruch Hu of all he did in Mitzrayim. For who miskarev a love, and then he comes close to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Oida karev a love, and once it's close to Kadosh Baruch Hu, yesh lo yitzfayet sarcha. Then he can be davening and ask for all his needs. That's the whole thing to be Samech Gula Tefillah. Go ahead and kaviyachol warm Kadosh Baruch Hu up with praises of what he's done for us in Mitzrayim, and then go ahead and ask about kashas, just like knocking on the door of the king. When the king answers, then ask your request. Back in the Gemara. Masav Ma'brei Ravina. The Erev in the evening. The Masav Ma'brei Ravina. The Erev Mavarach Shtayim Lefanel Shtayim Achrecha. In the evening, we say two brachas before Kriya Shema and two brachas afterwards. The last two brachas are Gal Yisrael and Hashkivenu. Shema Yisrael. Boy Hashkivenu. Ach Gal Yisrael. Now, if you have to be Samech Gula Tefillah, Halakha Samech Gula Tefillah. Afterwards, you're interjecting a bracha in between. Says Gemara, the Habalim Hashkivenu. And for the Gemara, even if the king Rabban Hashkivenu, since the Rabban will metaken Hashkivenu, it's like one big geula. It's like one big bracha of geula. If you don't say that, Shachris Heiki Matzi Samech. How can you be Samech? V'amar Rabbi Yochanan B'tchila Oime Hashem Svasai Tiftach U'B'Soif V'amar Yehi Ratzon Imrei. So why? How can you interject Gal Yisrael and then we say Hashem Svasai Tiftach? It's that hefsek between geula and tefillah. What do you have to say? Elo Hasam. What do you have to say? Kivin Tekin Rabban L'Meima. Hashem Svasai Tiftach K'Tefillah B'Chtedanya. So Hachanami here to my Ma'ariv Kivin Rabban L'Meima Hashkivenu Geula B'Chtedanya. And the emes, the Taisus Rabbeinu Yoina in the back of Masechta says that Hashkivenu is Kain the Geula. In the time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going through Mitzrayim, we were scared and daven that the mashkus, the malach mashkus should not come upon us, like it came upon Tzaddikim, right? And because again they were worried Shem Yigam Machet, and that was connected. That they said the tefillah of Hashkivein that Hashem should say that save us before the Rav. So they were scared of the malach mashkus, and therefore in Hashkivein we mentioned what Kama gave very geschmack. So therefore it's not just they were attacking it, but there is in the Indian of Hashkivein there's an Indian of what of Geula. Places says according to Rabbi Yochanan, you have to be samiku with tefillah even by Ma'ariv, right? Even by Ma'ariv, like not like a B'shul and Levi, like that's what place it says. And the brachas that we say after Ashkivenu, all those brachas that we say after Ashkivenu also is since the Chachamim when we're talking that, right, it's considered part of the Geula. The Shulchan Aruch and Simon Reish on the Zion Son of Face, you shouldn't speak between Geula and Tefillah of Ma'ariv, right? The Shliach Tzibuk be similar to Tefillah Shalavis. In other words, he's able to call out Rosh Chodesh. He's able to call out Yavi Yavoy. And if a person comes and finds that the people are davening Shemona Esrei, you should go ahead and daven with them, and afterwards say Kriya Shema, but it's brachas. But B'Shachris not. B'Shachris you have to say first. You have to say Kriya Shema, and then Shemona Esrei. By Ma'ariv, you first can say Shemona Esrei and then daven Kriya Shema. But by Ma'ariv, by Shachris, you can't. Anyone says Hilal David b'chol yom 3 times. That's the Tehillim of Kuf Mem Hey. That's what we call Ashrei. Again, we don't go ahead and say Ashrei. We don't say Ashrei Muftachu Sheben Adam Haba. We're sure that what that is a Ben Adam Haba, right? And notice you have Shvach Kodesh Baruch Hu. We decide Adam Haba by saying Ashrei 3 times a day. We add the words Ashrei before him because Ashrei tells us to go ahead, and the Simcha we feel the Shas and to go ahead and be the Simcha and also to delay. This is all adding up to what, all leading up to the Shvach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Aleph base. So we say Ashrei before. My time, why you been on the harbor? What's so great about that Ashrei? You know, we shouldn't just see the Aleph base because you have the Aleph base in there. And therefore, you have all the sites and the text of the Aleph base. Neima Ashrei Tmimei Derech. That's the Hillam Kufya test. That's the longest in all of the Hillam. The Asya B'Tamna Afin. You go to the Aleph base 8 times. So if the site is the Aleph base, say Kufya test. Elo Mishum the Isbei Paseches Yidecha. In Tehillim Kuf Mem Hey, we have the beautiful bracha Paseches Yidecha, and therefore, since you had the bracha Paseches Yidecha, we say Dafka at the Hillam Kuf Mem Hey. Fred the Gemara name a Halal Agadol. One we say Halal Agadol, which is again Hodul Hashem Kitov. When we say Halal, that's Halal on Mitzri. When we say on Rosh Chodesh and Yontif, this is what we say on Yontif and on Shabbos. That's called Halal Hagadol, and has in there the Siv it says Noisei Mechem Chal Basar, right? So therefore you have that. So you have two miles over here in Kuf Mem Hey in Ashrei. You have A Aleph Beis and B you have Pesach Yidecha. So Nimsa, the whole reason you're saying is Pesach Yidecha, if you don't say it b'kavana, you have to repeat it. You have to repeat it. That's Pesach Yidecha. You have to repeat it because you see from this the whole reason you're saying it rather than Halal Gadol, rather than Aleph Beis and something else is because of it has both aspects, the Aleph Beis and Pesach Yidecha. That the Tosafos Rosh again says, why do you begin with the pasuk of Ashrei? Because in Ashrei it says a person should go ahead and wait before he davens, and that's the reason that we say Mizmor of Tefillah David before Tefillah, in order to machtas Tefillah with the Beit Torah and Simcha like Psukei de Zimra and Ashrei. All this is to get a person muchan for what? For Kriya Shema and for Tefillah. That's the halacha. So a person has to again have kavanah by Pesach Yidecha. And it's not mechavan by Pesach Yidecha. He has to go over it another time. The Mishmur says in the Chelak Aleph, b'Shem Alavush, Shechayz Hakadosh Baruch Hu Loymar, he pasuk Pesach Yidecha. He has to say, finish off the end. Pesach Yidecha, Maspil Chalson Sadik Hashem B'Chal Darachav. He has to go ahead and finish from Pesach Yidecha till he'll done. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, why we said Ashrei is Aleph base? Why don't you go ahead and say the Nun and Ashrei? The lashon of the Nun is in lashon of Mapola and Shani Yisrael to Neifel to fall down. So therefore, Shani Yisrael is a lashon sagina. It's a nice lashon say for the Jewish people. It says Nafla loisoisif kum b'sulas Yisrael. They fall down, they won't continue to get up. So therefore, since we don't want to mention the Nun, which is rumorous in the Fila of Yisrael, we don't go ahead and say that's why there's no Nun. The Ravim is Tatzula Hachi in Eretz Yisrael in the west of Bavel, Eretz Yisrael. They would answer the following to touch up the pasuk a different way. It says Nafla, they fell, but they didn't fall anymore. Yisrael should go ahead and continue to get up. Even so, even Chassid the ice, because that's Mafalas Yisrael, Chassid David was something Baruch HaKodesh. David was Soymech and a Fila Sheish that says Nun Shnema. It says Soymech Hashem L'chara Neiflim. Hashem supports all those people who fell, and we'll call it a day over here.